Hello, my name is Ross, the chef here at Sous Chef. Now, after years in professional kitchens, I wanted to run through with you some tips to how to bring your cooking to the next level and how simple that is to do when you have fantastic ingredients in your store cupboard. So in today's episode, we're going to be covering different salts and how to use them, extra virgin olive oil, pastas, vinegars and their uses, and miso in cooking. There's many different types of salt out there and they can all really be used for different things. So I've got a bit of a selection of some of the products that we sell here at Sous Chef and kind of how you would use those in everyday cooking and how they really level up your cooking just by doing small different changes. First of all, we're going to start with a fine sea salt. This particular brand is from Portugal. It's already ground, so it is fine. It's the right texture to be seasoning on top of your food. It's going to dissolve quite easily. It's not going to be big clumpy bits throughout your sauce as an example, but sea salt has a fantastic flavour to it. You know, it's really minerally. This fine one is great to have in a little pot next to the stove, just to season things as you're going. As a chef, you know, you always kind of want to work on the stove and want to have your ingredients as close to you as you can, really. So this is a great everyday salt. It's got a fantastic flavour and texture to it, and it's really simple to use. Now, moving on, this is a smoked sea salt. This is from Angus in Wales. Originally, when they started smoking this, it was made from the offcuts of the Welsh kissing gates, which I thought was really nice. Now, it's slowly smoked over oak. You can smell the aroma from this. I haven't even opened the packet yet, and you can really smell that amazing smoky flavour. So this is a sea salt, big chunky sea salt flakes, and that's obviously made when the seawater is, you know, evaporated in big pans or big salt trenches, and you get left with these, you know, large salt crystals that are great. You know, it's a fantastic finishing salt. Now this, as I said, is smoked over oak, so the aroma is amazing. This would be fantastic with, as I said, tomatoes. Really take smoke really well, and the flavour works fantastically well for it. This is a personal favourite of mine. Fantastic product, you know, great aroma, and really interesting product. I think it's a cool one to have in the store cupboards. Moving on again, we have Himalayan pink salt. This particular one from Terre Exotique, a fantastic spice and company from France. This is basically fossilised seawater, essentially, is what it is, from millions of years ago. You can see it like this. This is amazing. You know, it's a big rock of it, and this comes with a fancy little grater that you can grate and actually grate your own Himalayan salt, which is pretty cool. So it's actually a bit more of a mineral flavour opposed to a salty flavour. I personally love it. When you finish food with it and finish with pink salt, it has a great mineral taste and is a real nice seasoning because it's not that strong in salty flavours, opposed to, you know, a flaky sea salt you have to be quite careful with because it does have a strong salty taste to it. But yeah, Himalayan pink salt is fantastic. As I said, it comes in many formats, but this one is pretty cool, how you can actually grate the actual rock directly onto your food. Another salt we've got for you is Fleur de sel. This is like the Rolls Royce of salts. It's got more moisture content in it than your normal, you know, rock salt or your normal sea salt. So what that means is it melts really nicely. So when you sprinkle it on top of your food, it doesn't need a lot of heat to melt, and it really nicely melts across the dish. There's different formats it can come in. You know, this particular brand is Maison Bremont, a beautiful French company that, you know, they make some amazing products all the way from salts, you know, herbs, spices, right the way through to savoury mustards and sweet products as well. So you really want to use this for finishing, you know, and as I said, because it has that nice texture, it crumbles really easily. So even between your fingers, it doesn't take a lot to break that down at all, and it just disperses nicely on top of your food as well. You can get different ones as well that have flavourings. Like I know Terre Exotique, the other brand, do a fantastic yuzu flavoured Fleur de sel, or other products with infused into the salts as well. So it's a really interesting product, and there's some great options out there as well. Now we're going to talk about some extra virgin olive oil. We're going to talk about one of my personal favourite brands. It's Galantino. They are an Italian producer from Puglia in Italy. So first of all, we have these beautiful splatterwares. They come in these amazing hand-painted ceramic bottles. And this is a fantastic medium intensity oil. It's a real good all-rounder, I would kind of describe it as. We are also going to look at some of their other products that they use, which is something that we've recently brought on. I'm really excited about here at Sous Chef. It's their flavoured extra virgin olive oils. Now we've got a few of those as options today. We have a truffle oil. I mean, most people are probably familiar with truffle oil by now. We have a chili infused oil, a beautiful lemon oil, and my personal favourite, basil oil. How they produce these flavoured oils, instead of just infusing a flavour into the oil, it's actually, when they're grinding the olives together, the product is ground with it. So, you know, that real fresh flavour that comes from actual ingredients opposed to artificial infusions, you know. And we also have one of their Grand Crus. Now, this is from the original olive groves of Galantino's family estate. Now, they produce a limited number of these bottles a year, so they are really a fantastic product. It's not a super intense oil, it's a nicely balanced oil, it's got a creaminess to it, it's a nice pepperiness, but it's a great finishing oil because it isn't too intense and it isn't going to overpower the other factors in your dish. Now, this oil in particular, if you were cooking an elegant fish dish, you wouldn't want to be using an intense fruity olive oil. You'd want something a bit more mellow, a bit more creaminess to it as well, and also that's going to complement the flavors of the dish you're cooking and not compete with the star ingredient that might be a piece of fish or it might be some seafood, you know. So as I said, these oils are fantastic to have in your store cupboard. It can add a real big punch of flavor to your dishes with, you know, really minimal effort, and just having these around to hand can help your cooking improve tenfold for sure. Now it's going to move to another one of my favorite brands is Pasta di Aldo. And Pasta di Aldo is an Italian company that produces whole egg pasta. They're fantastic. The egg content in there is so high that the chew when you eat the pasta is amazing. You know, for a dry product, it really is a fantastic product. Another ingredient that I would love to touch on with you is pasta sauces. Now, we sell a real range of pasta sauces at Sous Chef. This particular brand, La Ferita, is an Italian company making sauces in very traditional manners. This particular one is the old-fashioned tomato sauce. So this is a classic tomato sauce base. And to be able to have this in the cupboard, some fantastic pasta di Aldo, and some beautiful infused oils, you can really make a stunning dinner with a few little tweaks and a few little added extras that can really bring your food to the next level. So we'll show you how to do that today. That's really how simple it can be when you have fantastic ingredients in your larder. Beautiful flavoured oils, great quality pasta, and a great quality sauce. And that's really as simple as it needs to be. Okay, now we're going to move on to another one of my favourite ingredients to have in your store cupboards is miso. Now, miso is such a versatile ingredient to use. And look, there's different types of misos out there. In a nutshell, what it is it's a fermented soybean paste. Now, there is different types of misos. You can get white misos, red misos, and they kind of differ in intensity and flavour profile. Now, this is a white miso. Now, this flavour profile of this is quite, it's a medium sweet miso, so it's quite mellow. It is salty, but not on the super high end salty level, but it's got a great umami kick. So I love this one personally because, you know, you can use it in so many versatile different ways, which I'm going to kind of show you today how you can make a really simple, beautiful tasting miso sesame noodle dish that is really quick to make and really delicious. And again, just kind of shows you how easy it is to put together something that tastes amazing when you do have these amazing ingredients in your larder, you know, and easy to use. So we are going to start with the miso just into the bowl. Secondly, I have some lovely tahini. The tahini goes straight in. You can give this a quick little whisk just to break down the miso. We're going to add a bit of soy. We're going to take a bit of fresh garlic. Be sparing with it, you don't need a lot. For acidity, we're going to use some rice wine vinegar. We're going to chop some nice fresh spring onions. We just add our noodles in, put it into the pan, and we will reduce it to the right consistency that we're looking for. The thing with pasta and noodles, you want enough sauce on there, so it's never a clean job to get it into the bowl. I'm going to go in with my furikake. What furikake essentially is a seasoning and topping traditionally used in Japanese cooking for rice topping or noodle topping. It's a mixture of sesame, different spices, nori is always in there as well, so it adds like a big umami hit to your food as well. And this particular one has ube plum, which I really enjoy, the nice, you know, sour flavour to that as well. Togarashi is a similar product to furikake, but got a lot more spice in it. Go sparingly with it. You don't need a huge amount. Just add a little bit of spice to the top. Fresh spring onions adds a nice little freshness to it. And finally, the crispy chili oil, and this particular one's from Yep Kitchen. So again, this one's pretty fiery, which is great, with the Szechuan chilies in there as well. And that really is as simple as it needs to be. You know, this is a great base recipe. You can add some nice fried chicken on top of it, or some prawns would be lovely. Glazed tofu would be amazing on top of that as well. Some shiitake mushrooms. Like, this is just a real base recipe that can be super simple to whip up. This base dish, it's probably one of my most eaten dishes, like genuinely once a week of some derivative of this will be eaten in my house. It's a super easy way to make a delicious meal with minimal effort when you've got some fantastic ingredients in front of you. Okay, so that's obviously a way to use miso in a savoury setting. Now, you could also use miso in sweet products. I personally love it in sweet products. Now, I've also made here, these are my favourite cookies. These are miso and brown butter cookies. Cookies are very naturally sweet, but this way of adding miso to it balances them so much more. It's a similar thing to making salted caramel. Miso caramel is amazing as well. You know, if you wanted to top these with a miso caramel, it's great. For me, the perfect cookie is crispy around the edges and nice and soft in the middle as well, which these are. You know, it's a brown butter. It's also a chef's favorite tool. You know, you wouldn't believe how many recipes it's in, because it does add such a beautiful nutty flavor to the dish. And miso and brown butter cookies are my personal favorite. Now we're going to talk about vinegars. Now, vinegars are such an important thing when it comes to cooking. You'll hear chefs talk about all the time about acidity levels in dishes and balancing acidity. It's as important in salt, in my opinion. You know, salt is an important thing to bring out the flavour of things, but also is acidity. Now, there's different ways you can get acidity in your two dishes. You've got the classic citrus fruits, which are fantastic. Now, another good way to use as well is vinegars. Now, the great thing about having a selection of vinegars in your dry store, your cupboards, is, you know, that lemon might only last for a week or two, you know, for instance, but having a great selection of vinegars, the shelf life of them is very long. A lot of them are, you know, infused and fermented for a long time as well to get that depth of flavour. So they're a great thing to have in your store cupboard that you can whip out to bring a little bit of acidity to your dish, or make a little dressing super simple that will really elevate, you know, your cooking. And what we're going to do today is to show you exactly that. We're going to make a very simple salad, but show you how an amazing dressing with some amazing vinegar and olive oil can really elevate a very simple salad into something that's super delicious, you know. I'm going to be using one of my personal favourite brands today, Himalayan Beaujolais, which are a fantastic French company that make a lot of fruit-based vinegars, which I love because they're a real nice way to add a fruity flavour to your dressings. Now, this one in particular is a pomegranate vinegar, which has got an amazing aroma to it and a real fresh taste of pomegranate. So what we're going to do is make a nice simple salad using this pomegranate vinegar. It's going to show you how easy it is to elevate your cooking with super simple dressings that are really going to elevate those salads. First thing we need to do is make the dressing, and it quite literally is as simple as taking this fantastic pomegranate vinegar into your bowl. You don't need a lot. Get a little pinch of salt, which can just go straight into that. A little pinch of sugar goes straight into that. A little chefy tip if you want to get your bowl stable on the countertop without wriggling around. Take your teacup like this, tie a little bow in it, and then you can just sit a little hole in the middle, and then you can make the hole fit your bowl, which should sit nicely in there. And it just means it's not going to rattle around when you're doing it, so you can have one hand on your oil or container. We're going to take this beautiful extra virgin olive oil we mentioned earlier. And this has got a really nice pouring drizzle on this, so we can drizzle it nice and slow, because when you are making a dressing, you want to pour it at a nice slow consistent rate so it emulsifies the oil. Now, you could add some mustard to this if you wanted to. Mustard is a great addition to the dressing, and also helps emulsify the oil and the vinegars together. For this one, we're just going to keep it nice and simple with the great vinegar, great olive oil, and we're going to dress the salad. So as you can see, the oil and the vinegar has emulsified together. It's a little bit thicker than it was before. That's the oil and the vinegar has come together. And you've got your nice dressing. Now, all we're going to do is very simply chop some different vegetables and dress the salad. So we have our nice salad ingredients in here. We've got our baby leaves, some fresh pomegranate, some cucumber, spring onions, cherry tomatoes. You can really add whatever you'd like to this. It's a great salad for when the weather's a bit warmer and you've got a barbecue, and there'll be a nice accompaniment to that. So we've got our dressing here as well, and we're going to pour directly into your salad bowl. Now, as I said, it's always easier to add than take away. So just see what it's like in there. You might need a little bit more, you might need a little bit less. Gently toss your salad. You want to be really delicate with these baby leaves. Salad is nicely dressed. Then we can finish it with some nice feta cheese. The great thing about these vinegars is you can match the vinegar to the products that you've obviously got in your salad. You know, they do a fantastic mango vinegar or fantastic calamansi vinegar. If you were making maybe an Asian style slaw, they would be a great product to go in there as well. So that's what's so great about this company, is you can really match the type of dressing that you want to make with the ingredients in the salad as well, which is always nice to match them together, you know. And there are some real different types of vinegars out there. You know, you've got fantastic balsamic vinegars that, again, would suit this salad really nicely as well. This is a brand called Gusti, which is a fantastic producer from Modena in Italy. These are an amazing product. You could even go down the route of having a white balsamic, which again is another similar product. This is a great product, really good for pickling. I love white balsamic for pickling because it doesn't have any colour to it and doesn't bleach into any of the products you're trying to pickle. The most chef's favourite would probably be sherry vinegar. Like the kitchens that I worked in, we'd always have a seasoning tray, we call it. So it'd be right next to each section, and you'd have a salt, pepper, and a pot of sherry vinegar and in a little squeezy bottle, because it is that simple to add things on the fly. If you need a little bit of acidity, if you need to balance a dish, having a nice bit of acidity in there, sherry vinegar is fantastic for that. And you know, there's a whole plethora of vinegars out there, but they're great to have in your store cupboard to really add those little bits of finishing touches to your dishes. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. All of the ingredients used today are available in the links below. And if you want to see more cookware and ingredients content, hit subscribe.